Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at that massive storm that's going to be entering into the United States and just moving straight through up into the upper Midwest. It's going to bring a significant amount of severe weather to the south central and southeastern United States. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what level of severe weather risk do you think we will end up with on Friday? Do you think we will stay with a slight risk? Do you think we will up to an enhanced or a moderate? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, I wanted to mention that Brendan did go live on the second channel yesterday. And as you can see, we ended up having 20 hail reports and then 3 damaging wind reports, so it was a pretty active day yesterday, especially for a slight risk. But for day 1, where Brendan is going to be going live again, I'm going to leave that link in the description and in the pinned comment and up there on the top right of the screen right now where you can check out his channel. As you can see, for day 1, we have an enhanced risk there for Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and that is going to be mostly for tornadoes. I'll show that in a minute. But we have our general thunderstorm risks there in the lighter green. Within the darker green, we have a marginal risk of severe weather where there could be some activity in there. Within the yellow is our slight risk, and that is a very large slight risk region. And then we have that enhanced risk there in the orange shade. Now, if you remember like 3 or 4 days ago, I was mentioning that Thursday was my biggest day to watch. A lot of that trended to happen earlier and earlier and earlier to where now it's going to be happening between 12 a.m. and then about maybe 8 a.m. or so on Thursday, which counts as day 1. This counts as Wednesday in through Thursday. So this was a lot of what I was seeing a few days ago. Now, here is our day 1 wind outlook. 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green of damaging wind. 15% there in the yellow. And then red is 30% chance there for our enhanced risk region. Now, for the hail, it's a lot of the same, except it's a little bit of a slighter chance. As you can see, 5% chance there within the green, and then a 15% chance there within the yellow region. And then for our tornado risk, as you can see, we have a 2% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, a 5% there in the brown, and then a 10% chance there in the yellow region, and that's going to be for that enhanced risk region. So there is a pretty substantial amount of chance for tornadoes. We're going to be watching for that throughout the day today, also a big damaging wind threat as well. So let's just take a look at some of that modeled guidance for the day today. First off, the temperatures. And for a lot of these regions, it's going to be anywhere from the upper 60s to the lower to mid 70s. So that is going to be sufficient for severe weather. And we see a lot of our biggest outbreaks with that type of temperature range, kind of 70s or 60s. That will definitely be sufficient for what we're taking a look at today. Mid 60s for the dew points here is also just going to be sufficient in the same exact way. The Cape is right on the lower end, and I think this is a lot of the reason why it's just an enhanced risk, because the Cape is going to be pretty minimal for a severe weather threat like we're seeing today. Anywhere from about 800 to 1500 within that biggest severe weather risk region. And that's why we're not taking a look at too big of a hail risk, mostly a tornado risk, because as you can see, the shear here is actually going to be pretty substantial. So that is going to be sufficient for tornado and damaging wind activity. It's just that Cape that's going to be quite slight, and that's why we're seeing a limited hail risk. Because I think typically Cape translates to a lot of hail and supercells and stuff. But if you have the shear and if you have the line of thunderstorms, you can see tornadoes and damaging wind no matter how intense those storms are. So that's really why this is going to be a high shear-driven event in my opinion. Here's the significant tornado parameter real quick, and as you can see, this is going to be at about a medium to high range, about a 5 or 6 maximum in there, which again will be sufficient for tornadoes. Now, what we're going to do here in a moment is we're going to take a look at that simulated radar in just a moment. Alright, now as you can see, we're taking a look at about 2 p.m. here on Wednesday, April 7th. And as you can see, there will be some showers and thunderstorms already by 2 p.m. here starting out. I don't know what time Brendan is planning on going live. I will definitely update you guys on that as soon as we know. By the time we're reaching about 6 p.m., you can see those storms become a lot more intense. The line is in the back. That's our cold front, but we do see some storms out ahead of it. I'm mostly worried about the ones out ahead because those could try to become possibly supercells. The ones along the line could have some embedded hook echoes in there as well, which could be our main tornado threat. It depends how the day plays out, and that's really, really hard to predict. That's going to be more of a nowcast situation, and that's why it's so important that you check out the live stream, because you can't really predict these things, 12 hours out as good as you can just when it's happening and just breaking it down as it's occurring, obviously. Now, by about 7 p.m., you can see this becomes a lot more of a organized line. It's still not super organized, but they're more embedded within that line, and they will still be severe by this point. And then by the time we're reaching about maybe 10 p.m., you can see these storms are still ongoing. So this is going to be a late night event. And even by the time we're reaching about 3 a.m. here, you can see we still have those severe storms for Louisiana and Mississippi. They actually look pretty bad by that point as well. And then this is by about 8 a.m. on Thursday, and this is actually when day one ends. So this is obviously Thursday morning already, 8 a.m. Almost everybody will be up by this point, but it's still considered the Wednesday into Thursday threat day. So this is what I was talking about days ago when I said Thursday looks like the worst day. It just has become earlier and earlier and earlier to where now it's mostly overnight Wednesday into Thursday. And by the time we're reaching about 12 p.m., you can see it's all said and done there for that Thursday threat. So it's going to be just completely a non-severe weather day on Thursday almost, if you ask me. And here's that day 2 categorical outlook for Thursday. And as you can see, we have a marginal risk, and you're going to want to pay attention, but that's probably mostly going to be for about 12 p.m. About 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. So right after Wednesday is the Wednesday into Thursday threat for Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and the panhandle of Florida there. There will be some general thunderstorms all over the place, though. You're going to want to watch that as well. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards Friday, which I think is the most interesting day of all of these in just a moment. Now, here's the categorical outlook here for Friday, and to me, this is pretty clear that they're going to add an enhance to this at least. With this large of a slight risk, that's usually how you know. This is exactly what happened for Wednesday, and I expect it to happen for this day as well. We have a very large general thunderstorm risk there in the lighter green. A lot of areas in the northeast, the mid-Atlantic, the southeast, the south central are going to see thunderstorms this day on Friday, April 9th. And as you can see, we do have that marginal risk as well, that dark green, that's also very large as well. And then the slight risk there from Dallas-Fort Worth, basically for Little Rock, and you take that down through all of Louisiana, almost all of Mississippi, and a bit of western Alabama as well. Also southeastern Oklahoma. This is going to be a very interesting severe weather day here on Friday and through a lot of Saturday as well. Now, we don't have the individual outlooks here for Friday because on day 3 they don't add that. It's only for day 1 and day 2. So we're just going to break down the model guidance right now. The high temperatures, we're going to be in the mid to upper 70s, even lower 80s for most of these regions. So we're going to be a little bit more elevated here with the temperatures. And then our dew points as well is going to be either in the upper 60s or the lower 70s. So right out of the gates, guys, I'm going to tell you my gut feeling because yesterday's comment of the day, I asked you guys what severe weather day do you think will be the worst. A lot of people said Wednesday. A lot of people said Friday as well. I think Friday. I'm not going to lie. I think Friday, and I'll tell you why. Every single parameter that we have access to in this long range is more elevated for Friday. The temperature, the dew point, they're both way more sufficient. And then look at the CAPE, guys. Convective available potential energy, thunderstorm fuel, thunderstorm food here. And this is by 8 p.m. on Friday. And we have 3,000 to 5,000 amounts. The maximum here on the screen is 4,343. This is the highest CAPE event. If this was to play out this way, this would be the highest CAPE event that we've seen all year so far, even out of our high-risk days. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be the worst severe weather day. That just means this is going to be extremely sufficient for thunderstorm activity and severe weather activity to some degree. The temperatures and the dew points are more elevated. And then our shear, this is the interesting thing. So to the south, we have very high shear, especially on the very southern extent of that slight risk. But on the northern end, we don't have as much. And this could change, but at this point, I think that the biggest tornado threat, therefore, will be to the more southern regions there of our severe weather risk area. So let's just move through our simulated radar real quick. And as you can see, some storminess will already be around by about 7 p.m. This looks like mostly an evening overnight threat. And they will be around for Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas here by this point. And then by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m. here, you can see for eastern Texas, in eastern Oklahoma, they will be closing out. But for Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, we're just getting started. And then by the time we're reaching about 8 a.m. the next day, you can see these thunderstorms will still be around. They've just moved further and further eastward. Now, speaking of day 4, we do have a 15% chance, which means we will likely have a slight risk for Saturday. And that's mostly going to be for the panhandle of Florida, Alabama, and then a bit of Georgia as well there. And then you can see our CAPE for that day is actually going to be around 1,000 to maybe 2,000 for some regions, especially there for the panhandle of Florida. So this is going to be a lower risk day there on Saturday compared to Friday. Our simulated radar, you can see there will be thunderstorms around. So we're going to need to watch this closely, but I will say one thing for that Saturday threat. It's mostly going to be right there in the morning, right as we're closing out Friday into Saturday. So it'll likely, again, just like on Thursday, it'll be between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. most likely. Not really too far into the day that day. That's my gut feeling at this point. I will update you guys on that though for sure. Anyway, for our confidence tab, we've upped from a 4, where we had a 4 for about 3 or 4 days in a row, to a 5 now, finally. I'm finally feeling really good about all this. I feel very confident at this point. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, which day do you think will be the biggest severe weather threat? And I asked you guys this, and Michael said, I'm going to say Friday and Saturday will be the worst days with the high cape. So Michael's kind of seeing those higher parameters as well compared to Wednesday, but most people said Wednesday, so I was very interested to see that as well. Anyways, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons. Property Damage, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry the Pan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Alan Cherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Falago, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of our Patreon screen of the day, you could do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Anyway, for today's channel membership highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for also supporting the channel, especially our weather top dog, Hair Farms 1, and then our super fan, Phoenix Nimitz. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to absolutely destroy the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you like weather-related content, and I will see you guys in the next video.